Welcome, everybody. This is the Edge of Adventure podcast. My name is Adam Asher, and I get to introduce you to some great friends of mine. It's a full house. If you're watching the video version, you can see that it's me plus four other guys tonight. Gentlemen, thanks for uh, joining the show today. So let's
Thank
let's
you for
start with
having us.
let's start with some introductions. Micah Carter is joining us from the offices of Big Heart Orphanage in Reynosa, Mexico. Micah, you've been on the show before. Just want to thank you again for joining tonight. How are things? How are the kids at the orphanage and the school?
Things are good. We're getting, as far as the school goes, I'll let Robert speak most about that, but we're getting ready for graduation, the end of the school year, and so everybody's really excited about that and getting ready for summer to kick off here in Mexico. It goes a little bit later than in the States, but all that is going well. As far as here at the orphanage, things are going well. We're having a good start to our summer. It's usually quite a bit busier for us than it is at this moment. But with COVID being last year, we had really hardly any teams coming down. But this time, we've already had a few teams come down and spend some time with our kids and do some work projects. And as far as all the kids are doing, they're all doing really well. Yeah, just excited about summer and swimming in the pool and being done with school.
Well, Micah Carter, of course, as we've said before, and those of you who've watched, been a part of previous podcasts, you know that Micah is the director of Big Heart Orphanage, and they've got an orphanage and school there in Reynosa, Mexico, which is just across the border, and then a little bit farther into Mexico, in another part of the country, in the city called Saltillo, they have another orphanage. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We've talked about it in the past, but just to put it into perspective, that's what Big Heart Orphanage is. Okay, so that's a wonderful work and an organization taking care of kids in two different cities in Mexico. And a part of the project, a part of what they have in Reynosa, is the school that is known as Colegio Regents or Regents School. And the principal of the school is joining us today. That's Roberto Maldonado, who you see there on the screen if you're watching the video version. So, Robert, let's kick it to you. And first of all, welcome to the show. And how's the school going? I know you're coming out of a very, very challenging time.
Yes, no, thank you, Adam, for inviting. And it was really cool to be here with just a bunch of friends and just get here to share with you guys. And it's been going great. Actually, we're getting ready to hopefully get back to in-person classes. So maybe by August of this year, or if not the beginning of September, we should be going back to schools in person, because we haven't been, the kids haven't been in the school since April of last year. So all the teachers have been working online and just adapting to this new version of education. But we've been learning a lot and taking a lot of experience through it. And actually, it was a benefit as well, because for the other location of the orphanage in Saltillo, the 5 kids that are over there, they're actually studying with us now online. So even though they're somewhere else, they're also part of our school. And hopefully in this school year in August, they'll have their own teacher in person actually with them. So yes, it's been an amazing blessing, and we're getting ready to go back to normal, I would say.
Now, Robert, of course, I've been there. I've seen the campus. I've seen Big Heart Orphanage. I've seen Regents School. So I know what a large scale operation it is, how well it's run. But so I'm going to ask a couple of questions here just so people get a feel for this. The school started when, Robert, and what grades does it cover?
Okay, the school started, if I'm not mistaken, like 15 years ago. I was actually a student there in elementary and middle school, and in that time, there was only 20 kids in total. It was only for the kids in the orphanage, and since 2011, it was open to the public as a private Christian school, and it ran probably 60, 70 students until 2017, and thank God we started growing from 60. Now there's 432 students, and we cover elementary, middle school, high school, and college. And also, as a part of the same ministry, or as a part of the same family of ministries, there's a kindergarten, but it's run by someone else, and she's a great teacher as well, and a great principal. And she has right now she has 60 kids in preschool or kindergarten.
You're listening to a very special edition of the Edge of Adventure podcast. Of course, my name is Adam Asher, and I've got some great friends of mine, great guests on the line today. And this is a live version of the podcast. You know, every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, I release a new version of the podcast. But you know what? Tricks of the trade, it's usually pre-recorded, right? Not tonight. Tonight, this is live. You are getting to see this as we record it. And also, if you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, you can actually comment. You might have questions for these guys as we go through the conversation. So feel free to do that. And we are just thankful for everybody who's watching along, both as we're live and in the future, as I know many people will be watching it after the fact as well. So there's two other guys. Let's go ahead and introduce them as well. Brad Charles, good friend of mine. If you've been following The Edge of Adventure, you know Brad. He's been on a couple of podcasts, but it's been a while. Brad, the short version again, because I know we've talked about it in the past, but just for the sake of people listening now, when did you discover Big Heart Orphanage? And because that's how you got connected with Micah Carter years ago. And what was your impression of their work? And you know, if you were to talk about their work, because you know you have your own thing going. You're at Cubit Foundation, and you work with different organizations around the world. Remind us why Big Heart Orphanage in Mexico won your heart so much.
Well, the first time I was associated with Big Heart Orphanage, I was 13 in 1991, and I got to work with Micah's dad, and so after I went on a mission trip and kind of helping the old orphanage, and then I kind of got disconnected for several years. And Micah, remind me when I came back and started helping you.
October 2010, I think, was your first trip to kind of just meet up. I mean, like reconnect with us and see what projects we had going on at that time.
Right. And so at that time, I think Micah had decided to, you know, start working with the orphanage, you know, with his dad. And so I got like reconnected with Big Heart Orphanage, and got to meet Robert. Robert was like 15 at the time, I think, but it was years ago. But ever since then, I just been going back and bringing guys like Ed, my friend Ed from Wrightsville, Georgia, but you know, back. And I kind of fell in love with Mexico again, and all the kids and the people, and I just I don't know, I've always really felt connected with that area and the people there with Big Heart and Regents.
This is The Edge of Adventure, and that is the voice of Brad Charles. Brad is the president of Cubit Foundation. You can look them up at cubitfoundation.org. And also, quick reminder, after the fact, you can always, for links and connections, if you want to try to connect with the different people and ministries and organizations and projects. We're going to talk about a special project here in a couple minutes. You can do so always by going to theedgeofadventure.com. Just look for the episode page that will be associated with this conversation. All the details will be there. Ed Tanner, Brad just mentioned your name. I mean, he just used your name, so now it's my turn to kick it over to you, because how do you know these guys? How did you get roped into working with Brad and then ultimately with Micah and Robert?
It was pretty interesting. Probably about 10 years ago, I think my son had actually gone to Big Heart Orphanage with with Brad, and kind of got a project started. And they had a situation to where they needed some welding done and some mechanical work done, and they talked me into going on a mission trip. And I had no idea what I was fixing to get into, but it's been one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. And I think I've been back to Big Heart 5 or 6 different times doing different projects. My son really didn't think I'd go without him, but I've traveled all over the world with Brad, and so I'm about like a father to him. And sometimes he needs whipping, but he's a great guy. And Micah and them, and I remember Roberto. He was just a young kid running around kicking a soccer ball when I first went down there. And it's amazing to see what they've grown into and what they've done. And it's just an honor to be asked to be a part of what we're fixing to try to do down there. It's really great.
Well, let's put that into perspective then so that we begin to understand this new project, this new undertaking, because in the amount of time that I've known Micah and the amount of time that I've worked with or known what's been going on there, what they do in Mexico at Big Heart Orphanage, the one thing that has always been true is that they're always working on some sort of expansion. There's something new. And it's just refreshing to see because what they do is needed, and they have the support of so many people. I'm sure many of whom are watching this now, and that enables them to continue to grow and to help more and more people in different ways. So, Micah, going to kick it now to you because let's connect the dots here. The short version of Big Heart Orphanage, and then the way that the way the Big Heart Orphanage is, what you guys do, why you were founded, then the connection or the need that came up for the school. Walk us down that path, and then ultimately take us to this new project that you're working with the guys on.
All right. Well, it's founded back in October of 2000, just because of the need here of a lot of single moms that had multiple kids that needed help, and so we began to help single moms with their kids, and then of course, along with giving these kids all that they need, not just only in their a roof over their heads or food in their bellies. We also know that it's important to have a good quality education. So the education they were receiving from the local public school was unfortunately not the route we wanted them to take. And so we got to put it on our hearts to kind of start a school for our kids, kind of do like a homeschooling style, what we had done in the past, and it seemed to work really well. But it was within, the first year, second year of us doing that and opening it up to our kids that we had people from our community wanting to be a part and see if they could take their kids to our school also. And we said we didn't know how that was going to work and how that's possible because, it's run differently. But we were able to contact, get our school registered through the schooling system here. And like Roberto said, we were able to register it as a Christian private school. And that allowed us to be able to give education to people or kids outside of Big Heart. And yeah, just education here is just a huge need. And there's plenty of schools, and kids will go to school, and if they want to learn, they'll learn. If they don't want to learn, they can sit in the back of the classroom and goof off and do whatever they want because the teacher doesn't care if they're going to pay attention or not. He's just there to teach the class, and if you don't want to learn, you're not going to learn. Not to mention everything else that goes on around and in the schools that we are trying to keep our kids away from. So huge need, and it's been amazing to see how God's grown it to what it is now. That was never our intention, but it's cool to see how God worked that out.
This is the Edge of Adventure, and that's the voice of Micah Carter from Big Heart Orphanage in Reynosa, currently joining us live from Mexico, just south of the border. So Micah, pretty pretty interesting story, and I know that Mexico is home. Mexico is home for you, and has been for a long time. And you are getting back to it. You love that country and you love that city, and that's pretty obvious as to anybody that gets to know you. Um, so Robert, now to you, this new phase. Where are we headed now with Colegio Regents, or in English we would call it Regents School? What is this new phase that Brad and then Ed will tell us more of the details about? But you're the principal of the school. Give us the overview of what the objective is now for this next level.
Yes, yes, and actually, it's very exciting. And thank you for letting me be the first one to talk about it. I'm really excited just to see what, like Micah said, what God is doing with the school, and to see the great teachers that we're getting. But now, just as we started growing, we added high school and college as well. So we're working right now with working parents. They work already. They're I mean, like I said, they're parents from our students. Some of them are from just outside of the city. But now that we're working with them, is that we want to provide like new opportunities, like a new horizons, I would say. Because in Reynosa, even though that we're in the border and being so close to the states, and it should be a city that it's like, I would say, wealthy and that it has better opportunities. But the reality is that it's not. It's always nothing but factory work. If there's not a lot of opportunity, if you want to have like a better job or something, you'll have to go not just through your degree, but you also need like a master's just to get like a good position in a factory or some other company. But now we're located in the middle of let's say of a growing community, and the idea now that we have is not just to work with parents and give them like a college degree, but also give them trades. So the not just for parents, but from students that are in middle school, that are in high school, so that they can get that opportunity. And as soon as they're even at high school, that they're working and also studying, they can have that entrepreneurship, let's say, spirit, so they can open new doors and learn as carpentry or welding. And I know that Brad, who's an amazing carpenter, will be giving classes. We can't afford him, so he's coming here, and then he's gonna serve for us. And also Ed, he'll be giving the welding classes. So for us, it's such an amazing blessing to start that. Hopefully, real soon. Actually, we started the demo first, the demolition of the property, or where the place is gonna be, the school, the trade school, and now we're just waiting to see what are the next steps to start building it and look at the programs to have it ready.
That is Roberto Maldonado, the principal at Regents School, or in Spanish, they're in Reynosa, known as Colegio Regents. And this is the Edge of Adventure podcast. Brad, from your perspective, why is this next phase needed? Which this is why you're getting involved. You see a need. You think that this is needed, and you can help somehow. Tell us about that. What are you going to be able to bring? What's your goal for this, and why is it important?
Well, that's a lot of questions, but I guess why I want to get involved is that I'm.
Why do you want to get involved, Brad? I'll ask one question at a time.
There you go. There you go.
One at a time. Let's see.
One at a time. Let's
One at
start
a
over,
time.
guys. All right, this is live. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Take two. All right. Tell us, Brad, why you want to be involved in this next phase, this bit of expansion at Colegio Regents in Reynosa.
Okay. Well, there's in my mind, it's very important to teach kids trades like carpentry, plumbing, welding, electricity. I'm a carpenter. I've been a carpenter for a lot of years, 26, 27 years. And I want to teach kids what I know. And, good or bad, I want to teach kids what I know. But I would love for a kid to graduate high school and build himself a home, which would be awesome. So that's that. I mean, that's kind of my motivation. And I've been doing it for years. I've been taking groups down all over the world, building projects with, Red Cross or whatever, all through South America and Mexico, building churches and Red Cross buildings and hospitals. And I don't know. I just I have a really cool connection with Micah and Robert and with Big Heart and Regents, and I don't know. I really want to use the talents that have the God's been giving me, to help kids.
Brad, there was very recently, in fact, you guys just released it. There was a sort of a promotional video outlining this campaign, this project, and of course, the need for people to get behind it, support it, donate, and help to get the funds needed for you guys to do this next phase. But there was a couple of lines in that video that I thought were significant when you began to talk about why you want to do this and why you think it's important. I know you just said you'd love for them to be able to build their own home, but it's so much more than that. What happens if these kids don't have a great job? You're wanting to give these kids an opportunity to get a trade so they can go immediately after school and get a great job compared to the ones that might be available otherwise. Why do you want them to get these, to be able to make a living and make a good living in carpentry? What happens to them if they wander and don't really have direction?
I mean, there's not a whole lot out there. If they don't go to college, if they don't have, money. I mean, there's, they'll join gangs and sell drugs, and a lot of them get into prostitution. And I really want to just, I don't know. I'm trying to put it in words, but it's I want to give them a better life, and I want to teach them a trade. And so does, Ed with teaching them welding, to pass on what we know, so they don't have to go through all that stuff, and that's gonna just ruin their lives. And I don't know. I'm trying to phrase it the best way I can.
No. You're doing it really well. And of course, I know you personally, and I know your heart, and that's all I want is just for people just to see a little bit of that. I also know you're not taking a salary. You're not going to get paid to go do this. Ed, who we're going to talk to in just a second about the welding classes, Ed's not getting paid to do this. And you're not only going to the trouble to help raise the money to make this happen, none of that money is going to you. This is completely a gift from you and from Ed to these kids and the students and the ones that will be taught in the near future and for years and years to come. So I said it. I'm not sure you would say it, but I want everybody to know that I won't say there's nothing in this for you, but there's nothing financially in this for you. So I'll kick it to Ed. Again, there was a video produced, which I'm going to put the link to that video in the show notes or on the page for this. You can look them up at theedgeofadventure.com. There'll be the link to that video. It's about 10 minutes, but it really helps in succinct form paint the picture of what the goal is, what the objective is, and how you can be a part of it. But there were a couple of things in there too. I saw Ed when Ed was sharing in that video. So I'm going to kind of go back to one of those questions. Ed, what do you want out of this? You're going to teach the welding. What's your objective?
My objective is to make a better life for someone. I think when I first started this mission trip with Brad, Brad told me, said, main thing we're going there is to make their lives better. I made a statement in the video that a good welder can find a job anywhere he goes. And they're going to be welding fabrication going on continuously as long as buildings going up, things break, things happen, and good welders are in high demand. I think it's an honor and a privilege to maybe pass on some of the experiences that I have experienced in learning, and maybe pass on some things that you shouldn't do, and with trial and error. I've been doing welding and fabrication for right at 44 years, and I'd like to pass it on to make somebody's life better, have a better job. Maybe they won't have to settle for whatever they can find to do to make a little money. They'll have a career. They'll have a trade that the harder they work at it, the better they get at it, the more money, the better their life will be. And that's my goal, is to make their lives better. Men, boys, girls. There's a lot of women going in the welding field today because of the shortage of welders. And I had an experience this past week. It was pretty awesome. I've had this on my mind, how to teach. And my 12-year-old grandson come and spent the week with me. And he asked me, he said, "Papa, can you teach me how to weld?" I said, "Yeah, I'll teach you how to weld." And in a matter of about 4 or 5 hours, I had him welding abstract art together. And he was totally amazed at what he was able to do and how to do it. And I told my son later, I said, I may be trying to overthink this thing too much as far as going down to help Mike and them, everything, how it's got to be perfect. I said, we're just going to go down there and teach these kids how to do things and let them enjoy life and enjoy doing something. And the more they enjoy doing it, the more they'll do it and get better at it. So to make their lives better, to give them an opportunity to have not have to settle for whatever they can find, but to go out and get what they want.
Ed, I'll keep this next question for you. How significant is it to be able to take a skill that has kind of just become a part of who you are, and to be able to use it and pass it on to somebody else and hopefully bless them, right? I mean, to take the skill that you have and help that make a difference in somebody else's life.
Yeah, I think that'd be one of the most rewarding things that I think could happen in my life, is to pass a skill down, to make somebody's life better, to be able to look back and see it and just be a small part of this. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to look after the widows and orphans. We're supposed to help those who are less fortunate than we are. And I'm at a point in my life, and when Brad come up with this idea, I was kind of at a point in my life that I was kind of searching, didn't really know where I was going. And when he threw this at me and what Micah had asked, could I help him and do it? It was just very, very exciting and very rewarding for me to be a part of it. And I thank him so much.
This is the Edge of Adventure, and that is Ed Tanner. He's a part of the conversation today. We're talking Big Heart Orphanage. We're talking Regents School, all the things they have done, and in particular, this new project that is on the horizon. It's kind of at that fundraising stage where they need to get the rest of the money in so they can do the things they need to do. So with that, I'll talk to Brad. Okay, again, and a friend of mine. You guys probably have heard of her, Zan from Where Gals Wander, who's following along. She made a couple of comments, but she was one saying how much she loves to hear the ongoing story of the orphanage. And then hold on. I'm going to put up the right comment. And then she points out that I'm asking too many questions. And so I got to keep one question at a time. So Brad, you've been a carpenter now for 26, 27 years.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever had a splinter?
Where haven't I had a splinter?
Uh, oh my gosh. Well, okay, now moving to a serious question regarding Qubit Foundation, right? That's the organization that you work with. You're the president of that organization, and you guys have determined that you're going to raise the money to do what? What needs to happen there on campus in Reynosa at the Regents School? What needs to happen in order to make this vision a reality?
All right. What needs to happen is we need to finish building the carpentry shop. We need to equip the carpentry shop with enough tools for 15 to 20 students. And we also need to equip a welding shop with 15 to 20 students, and with all welders and all the safety gear and table saws, miter saws, I mean, you name it. So that's what needs to happen. And I don't have a number amount right now, but we need to get the thing built. We need to get the classes going. We need to get tools down there, and me and Ed needs to get down there and start teaching. That's what needs to happen.
And again, there is, if you go to theedgeofadventure.com and look up the show page, you'll be able to find a link to a video, which, I mean, when you watch that, you'll kind of understand start to finish the vision and the heart. And this is the kind of the things we're talking about today. But that video would be a great way, also a great thing to share with others as you think of other people who might like to be involved in this. Micah, I don't want you to fall asleep. Are you still awake, Micah?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't got to shoot a question over to you. Just make sure, keep you awake. You know, this next phase, you guys are always doing something. I kind of mentioned this earlier. Um, what there's an energy there. There's there's a life there at Big Heart. Where's this life coming from? Why are you always making progress in this way?
Um, well, I mean, we don't really like to sit still, and we don't like to wait on things to happen. We're capable and able to meet people's needs, and what's been put on our hearts to do is first off, um, invest in these kids that are in our care. But just like any family, they don't just invest in their kids. They should be investing in people at their workplace, in their neighborhoods, at their church, people that they meet at the local grocery store or whatever. They should be, making impacts on people and investing in people. And like Ed so well said, if you have a trait, be willing to teach, other people that are maybe less fortunate or don't have the opportunities that you've been able to have. And so for us, it's just always that. I mean, if we see a need and we have a way to meet it, and the hands to do it and the desire, we try to do that. We can't meet everybody's needs, and we're really not called to meet everybody's needs. That's why we all help each other and we team up together, and we all have a part in it. But we desire to do big things, not for us or for our recognition, but for people to know that there's people out there that care about them, and that really do want the best for everybody in our community and everybody that we come in contact with. And like again, what Ed said is, you never. I think it happens all over the world. I mean, I know that it happens all over the world, but just that idea of settling, the idea of like, this is good enough, or this is what my parents did, or this is what the rest of my neighborhood, friends are doing. I guess this is all there is, and then just settling for that. Where, this now going towards the courses that the guys will be teaching. I mean, it's just a huge opportunity for somebody to say, you know what, I don't have to just settle for a factory job or settle for working at the corner store or settle for, like Brad said, being a part of a gang. And just that's the lifestyle that everybody else in my community is doing. You don't need to settle. Like, there's opportunities. There's people that are coming down and wanting to invest in. And I like that the fact that he touched on that he's, neither of them are getting paid to do it. So it's not like they're just trying to fill a position of a need, but it's really the hearts of these two men that have already invested heavily in myself, but not only in myself, but in this place. And they have more in their heart to give, and they want to invest in the community that we're already working in. And so, I mean, it's just how the body works, we team up and we do our part, and that's why God gives us different abilities and different talents and different strengths to work together and all for the good of everybody. So
That's Micah.
Question.
That's Micah Carter from Big Heart Orphanage and also from Regents School in Reynosa, Mexico. Roberto, Robert, okay, you're also joining the show there from Reynosa, where the school and the orphanage is. I hear it's pretty chilly there right now.
Really? We're getting to the hottest time of the year, so it's not as chilly as they say.
I think you told me it was getting close to. It was up over 90 today.
It felt worse than 90. I think it was 91 right now. So it's what here it's 7:40 p.m. and it's still 90. So early in the day it was.
Yeah, so it's nice and cool.
Okay.
Well, listen, Robert. Now, as we get toward the end of the show, Robert, you have been given a responsibility, and you've been there at the school now, running the school for several years. Talk to me about this responsibility and why you are called to it.
Yes. Well, that's a tough one, but yeah, it is a great responsibility. I don't take it lightly, and I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to do it. This is my second year actually as a principal. I was a vice principal before that, and before that I was an English teacher there, and it's been just an amazing, just amazing for me to see all the changes from the principals that have been there before me, and I just want to say, like, a lot of the things that are happening right now in the school and the growth, it took 10 years, 14 years for that to happen. And I'm really, I want to pay back, let's say, or try to give my best also for the people that invested in me when I was a student there. So for me now that I'm the principal, it just, I want to be the person that God wants me to be there and serve the community, because as Michael was saying is, like, every one of us is called to a different, let's say, talent or a different purpose. And right now I just feel how this, I love how the school is working in that community, and even through all this situation and with teachers and parents and students, what I feel like God is telling me is just to build a community that is strong together, and that they work in a way that not just the students go forward, but the parents go forward. And that's what we want to do, just not just with the classes and not just with the education, but also with the devotionals that we give to the students, the community outreaches that we do as well. And I would just say that for me is I know that God is not done yet, and He still has a lot for Regions and for our neighborhood, for Reynosa and for Mexico, and that responsibility shouldn't be taken lightly. And I just thank God that He gave me the opportunity to do it, even through our weaknesses, and that's where I glorify God, because even through my weaknesses, He's still glorifying Himself. And that's my goal, just to see the community at its best, and have the teachers, parents, and students working together. And now it's cool to see that the Big Heart Orphanage is not just the kids and the people that run it, but it's also the teachers that are in the school and all the part of the community that are now part of Big Heart. So it's a huge family, I would say.
Robert Maldonado, principal at Colegio Regents or Regents School in Reynosa, Mexico. Again, wrapping up, getting close here. Just Ed, what do you think about these three guys? What are your thoughts on these three guys here?
I thought you told me to keep my answers short. No, great people. When I first went down, I fell in love with Micah's daddy. Me and him had so much in common. And over the years, I've gotten to know Micah more and more and just appreciate so much what he's doing. And I'm going to tell you, they want to be self-sufficient. There's not, if Micah's got his mind set on something, it's going to happen. And he's going to find out a way to happen. And like I say, I saw Roberto kind of grow up a little bit, kicking soccer balls all over the place down there for a while. And got to come to his wedding and be a part of that. And Brad Charles is just an amazing man. He really is. I said it in the video. Brad Charles has the ability to get more out of a person than a person ever knew he had in him. And I appreciate Micah and Roberto for allowing me to be a part of this, and appreciate Brad including me in it. Appreciate what you're doing for us, Adam. And I'm looking so forward to it. Really am.
Ed Tanner joining us today for a very special edition of the Edge of Adventure podcast. And if you guys are watching us, this was actually recorded live. This is live right now. And a very sort of a unique opportunity. Wanted to get everybody together and do so live tonight for this special edition of the podcast. Micah, final comments now from you. I know that Big Heart Orphanage has the capacity, has the ability for groups to come down, to stay there on campus, to serve in some way. Tell me briefly about that. And of course, they can go online to bigheartorphanage.org to find out more. But extend that invitation, knowing that it's been a weird year. You mentioned earlier that some new some groups are now starting to come down. Tell us about that opportunity and what are the types of things that a group might be able to help you guys with.
Well, thanks, Adam. We can house, or we have lodging for at least about 80 or 90 people at one time. That's kind of a bunk style, quarters. But has air conditioning, of course, running water, hot showers, comfy beds, and but as far as coming and how people can serve, we have numerous areas where they can serve. There's some teams that come down and invest fully into the school, where they'll come down and do some sort of type of camp, like a science camp or creation camp or stuff like that, where they're teaching kids at different levels and invest in the teachers and stuff like that. We've had multiple teams do stuff like that. We have teams that come down and maybe a team of about 40 people, where it's adults and youth, and they come down and will do anything from building a house for somebody, replacing a roof for somebody, pouring sidewalks, concrete slabs. And of course, there's always different projects that are going on here at Big Heart, like Adam had mentioned earlier. But again, we focus on a lot of the needs of our communities, local ministries or churches, organizations that are trying to do things but don't have the funds to do that. What we try to do is when teams come, usually to bring not only hands to do it, but also some fun to pay for concrete, to pay for materials for building and stuff. And so we take advantage of that and help our community. Then there's also other teams that would like to focus more on dealing with, working with the people and ministering to the people, or it's different types of outreaches or food drives or prayer teams or even medical people that come down, like nurses and all sorts of doctors and dentists and stuff, and we can do different types of clinics, and we team up with the school and do that together there. And so opportunities are pretty endless. We've had all sorts of teams coming from all different types of churches. All we everybody's welcome, and we love having teams come down and just getting to know new people, and they're an encouragement to us. Being on the mission field, sometimes you're going and going and going, and it's just nice to have people come alongside you and help you out at different times, and have conversations, build new relationships, new friendships, and yeah, so that's always available. And like Adam said, you can jump on our website and it has all the information there as far as if you want to bring a team, or maybe it's just a family or a couple wants to come and spend a couple days. We have smaller rooms where families can stay in, more about like a little house and stuff like that. And so, yeah, we love having visitors. So.
Micah Carter, director at Big Heart Orphanage in Reynosa, and of course, highly, highly involved as well at Regents School. Time for the final comment of the show, the live show. We'll kick it back to Brad. We'll let Brad wrap it up for tonight. Brad, I need you to challenge us, the viewers, the listeners. Challenge us. How do we need to be challenged?
Well, I've probably said this a lot, but everybody in the world is good at something, and you need to use it, and you need to help people however you know how. It's your job to help people everywhere in the world, and I've tried to live my life by that motto. So I just want to say thanks, Adam, for doing this, and Ed and Mike and Robert. I love y'all, and I just it's a honor. I know I cut up a lot, but it is an honor to do this with you, and I really couldn't see my life without y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you very much.
And that's Brad Charles, president of Cubit Foundation. You can look them up at cubitfoundation.org, and you'll be able to let them know that you want to help out some way, in some form or fashion, for this project as they build this next edition for Regents School in Reynosa, so they can teach the classes for welding and carpentry, so on and so forth. And you can find all those links and details and everything. Again, they'll be shortly. Give me a minute, but they'll all that'll be on theedgeofadventure.com very soon. So again, thanks everybody. Brad, yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. It's not your first time. I mean, when I first met you, Brad, let's just put it this way: you didn't have any gray in your beard.
Yeah, you didn't either.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Hey, you know what? All of you guys are great friends, and it truly is an honor, which is why this is such a special edition, right? Because I know you guys personally, and I've seen you in action, and I've seen how much you care for other people and how you're willing to put what might be best for you aside and do something for somebody else. And it's just inspiring. So I wanted to share that. So thanks to you guys for joining us, and thanks to everybody who was a part of the show tonight, everybody watching, who commented, who shared the program out. Thank you for all of that. Please continue to do so. Let people know about this great project, and they can find out more at theedgeofadventure.com. I will have all the links to Big Heart Orphanage and to Cubit Foundation and Regents and all of those things. So with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Love you guys too. We will talk again soon, and I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
You guys.
And you guessed it, folks, you'll see us again right here next time for the Edge of Adventure podcast. God bless you all.